back to Mindful Makina, where we explore the global hot topics for you. If you're new to our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to keep up with our video. And also, if you like this video, then don't forget to like, share, and comment. Without further ado, let's get into today's subject.
Ever pondered why climate change might be a problem for some more than others? Let's delve into that. The climate crisis, this enormous, invisible behemoth, is a global challenge, yet its impact is not spread out evenly across our world. Developing nations, despite contributing the least to the problem, often bear the brunt of its effects. Picture this. A small island nation, barely leaving a carbon footprint, now faces the wrath of rising sea levels, threatening to wipe its existence off the map. Or imagine a subsistence farmer in a landlocked country, grappling with unpredictable weather patterns, disrupting his yearly harvest. It's a grim reality, isn't it? This brings us to the concept of climate justice. It's not just about reducing emissions or investing in renewable energy. It's about recognizing and addressing these imbalances. It's about understanding that the fight against climate change is also a fight for fairness, for equity, for justice. Climate justice pushes us to ask the tough questions. How can we ensure that those who have done the least harm aren't left to suffer the most? How can we correct historical wrongs where developed nations, through their abundant greenhouse gas emissions since the Industrial Revolution, have contributed significantly to the climate crisis? How can we bridge the gap between the global north and the global south, not just in terms of wealth, but also in terms of carbon footprint and capacity to adapt? In the grand scheme of things, it's not just about saving our planet. It's about ensuring that the planet we save is a just one, a fair one. It's about ensuring that the future we're fighting for includes everyone, that it leaves no one behind. Climate justice also brings responsibility. Developed nations must acknowledge their role in the crisis and take steps to address it. It's about reparative justice, about making right what has been wronged. It's about holding ourselves accountable for the world we've created and the world we leave behind. Understanding this imbalance sets the stage for our exploration of the COP protocols. Because yes, it's not just about the climate crisis, it's about the crisis of inequality that lies within. And that's what we're going to unravel next. So, what exactly are these COP protocols we keep hearing about? Well, let's untangle this global climate web together. COP stands for Conference of the Parties, and it refers to the decision-making body of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, or UNFCCC. The COP protocols are essentially the agreements reached at these annual meetings, which began back in 1995. They're an attempt by the global community to address the pressing issue of climate change. Each COP meeting is a crucial juncture in the global climate dialogue. Let's take a quick journey through some of the major meetings and their outcomes. The first significant landmark was the Kyoto Protocol, established during COP3 in 1997. This was the first time that developed nations agreed to legally binding reductions in their greenhouse gas emissions. Fast forward to COP21 in 2015. Here, the world came together to form the Paris Agreement, a global pact to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius, above pre-industrial levels. This was a monumental step, symbolizing global unity in the fight against climate change. But these protocols aren't just about reducing emissions. They also address issues like climate finance, adaptation to climate impacts, and the transfer of technology to developing countries. However, the road to climate justice is far from smooth. Consider COP27, where geopolitics and timing complicated negotiations. Despite these challenges, there was some progress, with the establishment of a fund to compensate developing countries for climate impacts. Yet the details of this fund and its implementation remain to be negotiated. So even though the COP protocols are a crucial mechanism for addressing climate change on a global scale, their implications are far-reaching and complex. They highlight the need for global cooperation, but they also underscore the challenges of balancing diverse national interests and achieving climate justice. These protocols are key to addressing the climate crisis, but their implications are complex. So as we look ahead to COP28 and beyond, let's keep in mind that while these protocols are a step in the right direction, there's still much work to be done. How do these protocols affect developing nations, and what are their implications? As we delve into the implications of the COP protocols, it's clear that they impact developing nations in a myriad of ways, both positive and challenging. First, let's consider climate finance. The COP protocols aim to deliver a yearly sum of $100 billion, as pledged in 2009, to assist developing nations in combating climate change. This financial aid can significantly bolster these countries' ability to implement sustainable practices and adapt to climate change. However, the details regarding funding distribution and implementation remain blurred, leaving many nations in a state of uncertainty and apprehension. Next, we have global decarbonization. The protocols call for firm commitments to reduce emissions worldwide. This is a shared responsibility, but it also poses a unique challenge to developing nations. Many are grappling with the reality of relying on carbon-intensive industries for economic growth, while also needing to curb emissions. It's a delicate balancing act that requires careful planning, robust support, and innovative solutions. Lastly, the protocols address the historical responsibility of developed countries. The COP protocols recognize the disproportionate contribution of developed nations to climate change since the Industrial Revolution. This acknowledgement is a stepping stone towards climate justice, but it also opens a Pandora's box of complexities. How do we measure this responsibility? And more importantly, how do we translate it into tangible actions that can help repair the damage done to developing nations? The COP protocols offer potential solutions, but they also present many challenges for developing nations. They highlight the urgent need for climate justice, financial support, and decarbonization. Yet they also expose the stark power dynamics, economic disparities, and historical injustices that underpin the global climate crisis. In the end, it's not just about implementing protocols. It's about creating a future where all nations, regardless of their economic status or historical carbon footprint, can thrive sustainably. The journey is challenging, but the destination is worth it. As we look forward to the next COP summit in Dubai, let's remember, the COP protocols offer potential solutions, but also present many challenges for developing nations. Now that we've explored the COP protocols, what can we do to contribute to climate justice? The question is not a rhetorical one, but a call to action. We can start by educating ourselves about climate issues, understanding the complexities and the stakes involved. Knowledge is power, and with power comes responsibility. Stay informed about the progress of climate negotiations like the COP summits and the roles of different countries. Next, consider supporting organizations that are working towards climate justice. These groups help to amplify the voices of those who are most affected by climate change, often the marginalized and vulnerable communities in developing nations. We can also use our voices to demand accountability from our leaders, advocate for equitable climate policies that recognize historical emissions and the need for reparations. Lastly, incorporate sustainable practices into your daily life. Every action, no matter how small, can contribute to the larger fight against climate change. Remember, every effort counts when it comes to fighting climate change. Be a part of the solution and support climate justice today.
Thank you for watching this video till the end. If you liked what you saw, then don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment if you haven't. See you next time.